developments. So I think that this is clearly progress. Another good example, based on our Western Balkan strategy, which we presented precisely a year ago, we said we would only accept a new member if this new member has sorted out all of their bilateral conflicts, because we've used our experience from previous accessions. We're not going to import these conflicts into the EU with the problems associated with this. And then when talking about North Macedonia and its relations to Bulgaria, and also there is this decades-long problems about the name dispute, and this has finally been set aside. And now it's the only country in the area which doesn't have an open bilateral problem with any neighbor compared to all of the other countries in the region. So you really see the dynamics of the area. Now, what's important, and here I'm mainly addressing colleagues from the member states, we need to look at the long-term perspective. And we, in the Commission, at the end of May, will present our annual progress report on the situation of individual member states in the region, but also including Turkey. And I expect, on the basis of what we observe, that we will make a recommendation for North Macedonia, but also for Albania, that they should enter the preparatory stage for accession negotiations. And this would be done officially, particularly following the positive developments in North Macedonia. It seems to me that this is more than appropriate. And a year ago, we had a very positive stance among 25 to 26 member states on this issue. And now this whole issue of the name conflict has been satisfactorily resolved. And so I feel we now need to take the next step. Why? Well, I think, as is well known, that any measure which affects the European Union's foreign policy and every individual step that's taken towards enlargement requires unanimous approval of all member states. And for each individual level of this accession procedure, there are criteria, there are benchmarks, prerequisites which need to be fulfilled by our partner. And these are prerequisites which require unanimous consent of all member states, and then will be adopted by our partners. And I am fully convinced that if our partners satisfactorily fulfill the criteria, then it's an issue of our credibility and our reliability. We also need to live up to our side of the bargain. So when our partners meet the criteria for the beginning of accession discussions, then we need to react positively. Apart from the fact that there were some people worrying that countries could join just overnight. But for example, to take the example of Croatia, we negotiated for 8 years. And I'm not going to think that negotiations I don't think that will last a shorter period of time. Most likely it will take longer. But in any case, we are really trying to see what we can change. Because we've learned from previous experience, it's not enough to take the old example and say that our partners adopt certain laws